Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I hope everyone can hear me okay. The webinar is Springboard 2.0, Easier Than Ever to Connect, Share, and Learn. I am Elizabeth Strolamichos, the Project Director for Breakthrough Action. Today's webinar is being hosted by Breakthrough Action, a 5-year initiative funded by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, to lead their social and behavior change programming around the world. Breakthrough Action is a partnership led by Johns Hopkins Center for Communication Programs in collaboration with Save the Children, Think Action, Ideas 42, Camber Collective, the International Center for Research on Women, and VIAMO. Firmly grounded in proven practices, Breakthrough Action ignites collective action and encourages people to adopt healthier behaviors by forging, testing, and scaling up new hybrid approaches to social and behavior change. Before diving into today's topic, we have a few requests for our participants. There is a chat box in the lower right corner of the screen, so please feel free to introduce yourself. All participants are on mute, so we encourage you to submit questions using the chat box. If you don't quite catch something, that's okay. This webinar is being recorded, and we will make the recording and the presentation slides available shortly after the webinar. Since its launch in April 2014, Springboard, the USAID-funded online community for social and behavior change professionals, has provided a unique space for SBC professionals around the world to connect and learn from one another. Springboard members have strengthened connections with other SBC professionals, improved SBC knowledge and skills, learned from others' experiences, and found valuable SBC resources to support their work. In response to member feedback, we have redesigned Springboard and introduced state-of-the-art features and have brought the site in closer alignment with the Health Compass, now known as the Compass. The Compass is a curated library of SBC-focused resources which acts as a companion site and resource for members of Springboard. This webinar marks the formal launch of this new and improved platform. As participants in this webinar, you are among the first to have access. Today's presenters will discuss what we've learned from managing this online community for the past 5 years, along with the rationale for the new platform. Presenters will demonstrate how Springboard has been used to benefit its members and give everyone on the webinar a tour of the platform and its features. You'll have the opportunity to register for the newly redesigned Springboard and ask questions of our Springboard community managers. Our first presenter is Angela Brasington, Senior Behavior Change Advisor at the Office of Population and Reproductive Health at USAID. She will present on the background and lessons learned on Springboard, outline the site's mission, and provide the rationale for the updated platform. Next, Adenike Ayodele, Program Officer at the Center for Communication and Social Impact, CCSI, will present how Nigeria, one of the most active groups on Springboard, has used Springboard to support the practice of SBC among its members. Following Nike's presentation, Courtney McLarnon-Silk, Program Officer at the Georgetown Institute for Reproductive Health, will present how Passages, a USAID-funded project that aims to address social norms at scale to achieve sustained improvements in family planning and reproductive health, how Passages has used Springboard to support their community of practice, which is comprised of both French and English-speaking members. And finally, Heather Hancock, a Senior Program Officer at the Johns Hopkins Center for Communication Programs and Springboard Community Manager, will debut the new platform, highlighting new features and providing tips for maximizing your experience. Let me now introduce Angie Brasington. Angela Brasington is a Senior Technical Advisor for Social and Behavior Change in USAID's Office of Population and Reproductive Health, where she provides technical oversight and guidance to the agency's global SBC flagship projects. She is particularly interested in strengthening community health systems, designing effective and scalable community group engagement strategies, and forging collaboration with civil society and locally elected governments to improve health and social outcomes. Angie joined USAID in 2016. Previously, she worked with Save the Children US for 18 years, leading the Community Capacity and SBC team. In this role, she supported a portfolio of global health programs in more than 40 countries. Angie has worked in a range of technical areas, including reproductive, maternal, newborn and child health, and nutrition. Angie's career in international development began when she was a water and sanitation volunteer with the U.S. Peace Corps in Nepal. Angie, welcome.
Thanks, Elizabeth, and thank you, everyone. Good morning. I'm excited to have this chance to participate in the launch of the Springboard. As Elizabeth mentioned, I'll be sharing some reflections on Springboard's history, growth, and lessons learned from managing the community. So Springboard was first launched in April of 2014, as Elizabeth mentioned, with the goal of expanding the global social and behavior change communication community and strengthening the field of health communication. It was begun under the USAID-funded Health Communication Collaborative, HC3, and it continues to be managed under USAID's Breakthrough Action, the flagship SBC project. When HC3 was launched, HCP launched Springboard, its mission was to establish and sustain a forum for connection, exchange, and learning among health and social development communication practitioners at many levels, at the country, regional, and international levels. Its purpose really was to share SPC knowledge, experiences, and resources. Springboard was designed to provide a platform where offline conversations could continue online and across geographies. Springboard was also to be the host for communities of practice based on technical areas as well as country-based groups. Later in the year, Springboard introduced themed discussions to enable deeper exploration of topics moderated by subject matter experts. You'll notice in this mission that Springboard began with a focus on health communication, or SBCC, and the updated Springboard has broadened its focus to SBC writ large. Yes. When Springboard launched in 2014, it started with just a few members with the hopes of reaching a few thousand over the course of 4 years. Now, 4.5 years later, Springboard has grown impressively. As of this month, we have over 9,000 members from more than 120 countries. There's great collaboration and participation from a broad variety of countries, and almost 75% of Springboard members come from low and middle income countries. So you'll see here that over the years, Springboard has shown continuous, regular growth. Much of the increase has been organic and is due in large part to member promotion. We've also seen a steady increase in the number of posts each month by members. Regular member surveys, in-depth interviews, and feedback from advisory board members have demonstrated the value members place on Springboard. Springboard members visit the community for a number of reasons, as you can see here. But the top reasons are to learn from others, to find resources, and connect with other SBC professionals. Finding jobs, learning about or participating in events like themed discussions are also high on the list. When talking to Springboard members about the value Springboard offers, we hear some common themes. The first is that Springboard provides a unique space to share professional experiences and knowledge. Members often comment that they did not have a formal space to do this for SBCC prior to Springboard. Another key benefit is being able to connect with SBCC professionals. Members say that it's rewarding to finally feel that they have a community, a group of people who understand them and their work. Members also value the exposure to new ideas, approaches, and innovations that Springboard has provided. Another common theme is the access that Springboard provides to key resources, expert advice, and job listings. And last, Springboard members feel that SBC helps them to improve partnerships. As you see here, the quote from Sharmila sums it up very nicely. Springboard enables its members to learn from each other, share expertise, and use existing resources, discovering and contributing to discussions and innovative solutions. So what was the rationale for a new updated platform? As Springboard team listened to its members, we saw room to make Springboard even better. I'd like to talk about some of the rationale behind the changes that have been made. Member surveys and in-depth interviews over the past 4 years have been critical to Springboard's success. They've helped us understand members' needs and respond to them. These needs were the driving force behind the Springboard redesign. Some of the feedback the team received included the need for greater integration with the Health Compass, which is now known as the Compass. Members wanted a one-stop shop where they could connect with professionals, learn from experts, and find resources. Members have also requested a simpler, more user-friendly interface that was faster to operate. Members wanted to expand the scope and diversity of content, not just focusing on communication and health topics, but including other SBC and development approaches. Given the geographic and linguistic spread of our members, we also often had requests for functionality in other languages. And finally, since Springboard's launch, technology has advanced, and members wanted to interact with this community the way they do with other communities, including with lighter, easier to use apps. So we listened to all this feedback as we redesigned Springboard. The updated platform expands content beyond just health and communication to broader development in SBC areas. It combines Springboard and the Compass to create a one-stop shop for SBC, and now members can access their SBC community and resources in one place. The platform is designed around monthly themed content, which will always be based on member needs and interests. Watch the polls on the site to make your opinion known. The new interface is easier to use and introduces state-of-the-art functions, including links with social media. And as requested, new apps will be coming very soon. The new Springboard platform, which Heather will walk us through later, builds on the successes of the past 4.5 years, and we are excited to have you continue with us in this journey. Thank you very much, and look forward to the upcoming discussion.
Presenter is Adenike Ayodele. Adenike works for the Center for Communication and Social Impact as a program officer, providing support to projects implementing strategic behavior change interventions in Nigeria. She currently supports family planning programming on the NURI 2 project, but also provides support to other thematic areas across health and social development. She has extensive work experience in the health sector, both in Nigeria and the UK, where she worked in the cervical cancer screening program of the National Health Services UK. She has spent the last 13 years helping to improve the health indices of the most vulnerable people and supported the successful implementation of the NURI project, which concluded in 2015. That was NURI 1. Adenike supported the initial rollout of Springboard in Nigeria and continues to support CCSI's administration of the platform. She has worked as part of the team that helped to achieve the successes recorded on Nigeria's Springboard. She has a degree in biomedical sciences from the University of Wolverhampton and a master's in translational medicine from Cranfield University in the UK. Nike, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Heather. So, like Heather mentioned, I'll be going through our experience of Nigeria Springboard. So, Nigeria Springboard community of practice is made up of practitioners cutting across development agencies, government, parastatals, NGOs, media, and students. Springboard Nigeria was launched in 2014 in Abuja and Lagos, and within 6 months had grown to 100 members online. These launch activities were face-to-face events in those cities, and later on that year as well, we held face-to-face events in Port Harcourt and in Ibadan, Oyo State. All these helped to grow the numbers we had on Springboard Nigeria. Sometime last year, April, a steering committee for the Nigeria Springboard was set up to provide strategic guidance for the group, and that committee manages Nigeria Springboard and whatever events we have lined up. So far we've had 9 face-to-face forums and then 2 learning forums. The learning forums held in universities. One was in Ibadan and another one in Abuja here. And we've also had organizations invite Nigeria Springboard to talk to staff about Springboard. And so we've had about 3 of those organization engagements. At the last check, I believe Nigeria Springboard was over 1,300 members, and we're hoping that continues to grow. And so the group has been able to use Springboard for a number of things, uploading documents, organizations registering their details, descriptions in the directories, and members of Nigeria Springboard have also engaged in discussions. We've had themes. Some of the themes were spillovers from the face-to-face events, and we've been able to have quite a bit of interaction with people raising discussions and replying. And then some of the reasons why we've had a bit of success I'd say the Nigeria group is a bit dynamic in that the face-to-face events actually give us quite a bit of mileage. And once we noticed that Fridays are a bit light in the afternoon for most organizations, and based on feedback from a number of the members, it was easier to put our face-to-face events on Friday and discuss with people on the topics they'd like to see. So we've more often than not at the face-to-face events featured topics that are relevant to what's going on at the moment. So in recent times, we've had youth programming, we've had social media, we've had sustainable approaches to scaling up high impact programs, and we've also had investing for change. And average attendance at these face-to-face events have been between 70 and 100. And part of what we've also used to grow the group has been CCSI's annual Strategic Health Communication Workshop. Through these platforms, we've been able to get every alumni on the platform and also gotten them engaged on the platform as well. More recently, we've also seen a number of organizations or projects saying that they would like to sponsor face-to-face events. And the most recent edition, which we had in April of 2018, was actually sponsored by the Challenge Initiative. And in that face-to-face event, we had people sharing on sustainable approaches for scaling up the programs they're on. And we actually also had someone from the Vice President's office who shared about the Cash for transfers initiative they're working on. And I believe one of the reasons why we've also been able to record this success is because CCSI worked as the Secretariat of Springboard in Nigeria, and whatever networks we had or whatever programs we had was an avenue to promote Nigeria Springboard, and we really leveraged on that. And I think that's a bit about us, and we're hoping to continue to see this with the new platform. I'm hoping that when more people are on board, we're hoping that some of the organizations that have also expressed interest in hosting some face-to-face events will be followed up for us to have this soon. And so there's just a few pictures from some of the events we've had. This was at the launch in Abuja. The very first one, the inaugural event, was in May 2014. And I think at this particular face-to-face event, we looked at security and social and health programming. The next picture up was the one we had in Ibadan, where we looked at social behavior change communication as a whole. This was the first one that we held there. And following on from this, we actually had the first learning event at the University of Ibadan, which was quite successful as well. And I believe, okay, the next picture is from, yeah, this was a learning event at Durban Polytechnic in Abuja sometime 2017. Okay, so just 2 more pictures to go. This was at the Springboard Forum Abuja face-to-face events last year. This was the youth one. And then the last one is, yes, the most recent Abuja Springboard we held on the 27th of April this year. This is the one that TCI, the Challenge Initiative, supported, and we looked at sustainable approaches to scaling up programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nike. And it's such a pleasure to see all those photos of such an active Springboard user group. It's wonderful. Thank you. And now we're going to hear from Courtney McLarnon-Silk. Courtney joins the webinar as a program officer from Georgetown's Institute for Reproductive Health, where she has established and contributed to communities of practice in Francophone Africa and South Asia on advancing scaling up normative interventions for adolescent and youth sexual and reproductive health. She also works for IRH's Global Learning Collaborative to advance social norm change and works bridging the global and regional community of practices together. Courtney, welcome.
Hi. Thank you, Elizabeth. And hello to everyone who's joining. As Elizabeth said, I'm Courtney McLarnon-Silk, a program officer at Georgetown's Institute for Reproductive Health. And I'm very glad to be on this webinar sharing a bit about our experience in forming communities of practice, as well as our use of the Springboard platform and what we're excited about for the new version. For some background, in late 2016, the USAID Office for Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment, the GenDev office, provided additional funding to the USAID-funded Passages Project, which is a global project looking at the transformation of social norms for adolescent and youth reproductive health, to develop regional communities of practice on scaling up adolescent and youth reproductive health normative change interventions within regions. These regional COPs, one in Francophone Africa and another in South Asia, were to meet the needs of having overlapping areas of work across projects and initiatives in these regions, coupled with a lack of robust evidence or diffusion of evidence on social norms and scale up, and finally, a really great interest and need for sharing a platform to learn from each other and share experiences and skills together. So a bit about the COP. The goal is really to foster these regional networks of practitioners to advance normative interventions. And these are a group of interested champions who come together to deepen their knowledge and support one another, as well as to strengthen and catalyze these normative interventions on adolescent and youth reproductive health in their regions, within their countries and contexts and the organizations for which they work. So in the hopes of facilitating that coordination and collaboration, we aimed at devising a model for our COP to start with an in-person launch meeting where we convene members in both Francophone Africa and South Asia to meet together for 2 days, establish priorities and working agreements, and build relationships and kind of devise what plan they'd want to move forward in a period of time, as well as to introduce them to a shared virtual platform in which to engage and bring those kind of offline conversations online, as Andrew mentioned earlier. So we decided to use the Springboard platform to facilitate that collaboration throughout the length of our COPs. So the second phase was really to roll out our plan to engage online by using Springboard. And during that phase, our members, led by individual organizations and participants representing them, implemented an agreed upon work plan that was devised at our convening meetings to host kind of semi-private shared groups, which would be curated with content and group discussions on a variety of topical areas related to scaling up normative change for adolescent and youth reproductive health programming. And our COPs would meet regularly on those topical conversations. They take turns to share their experiences and lead the conversations and cultivate communication around those topics, as well as share resources, events, and a variety of other things. Both the Francophone Africa and South Asia COP experiences on the Springboard platform were varied. There were varying levels of engagement from number of members to number of active members and the depth of conversations. But we did find that having those platforms was a great way to anchor our COP and bring everyone back together. And we've been able to take a variety of feedback from our members in using Springboard after time and have open dialogue with the Springboard team to try to feed into the new platform, which has been a really great opportunity for us. So just to close, we're really excited about the new platform and thinking about a few different things. Of course, it's still a very unique way to bring so many people who have a shared interest in advancing SBC globally together. We're also very excited about the increased functionality and new technology of the platform and in general, the simplicity of design. I signed up just recently and really liking what it looks like. And we're equally excited about the integration of additional languages as we have French speakers, and we think that'll really increase their usability of the platform. And of course, the increased integration with Health Compass will be great. So we're keeping our eyes peeled for next steps and migrating our pages over to the new platform, and excited to hear a bit more about what Heather's going to share about what it looks like. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Courtney. That was great, very helpful. I would like to remind all our participants that if you have any questions, please make sure you note them in the chat box, because once Heather's done presenting, then we'll have a chance to have our presenters answer some of those questions. So thank you for that. And now Heather Hancock will provide a tour of the new platform. Heather is a Senior Program Officer at Johns Hopkins Center for Communication Programs. She has 12 years of experience in social and behavior change, capacity strengthening, and health education. She currently acts as the community manager for Springboard and oversees its companion site, The Compass. She holds an MPH from Brigham Young University. Welcome, Heather.
So thank you very much, Elizabeth. I'm very excited to be here with everybody. I wanted to start out by showing you all the new registration page so that everybody can get started on registering. You'll see that the new website is called springboardforsbc.org. And if you go there, you will see a place for you to join the new site. If you look up here in the right corner, there is a request to join button. You simply click that button, and there will be a small short form that you fill out with your first and last name and your email and your current country and how you see yourself contributing to Springboard. That request will be sent to an administrator and it will be approved shortly, and then you will receive an email that shows you where to click so that you can get started on Springboard. So I want to walk you through the new site so that you have a sense of where you can go when you actually log in. So the first place that you will go when you log into the new site is your profile. And this is a really key part of of your experience on Springboard, because not only does it help other members to connect with you and get to know you better, but it also helps you to tailor the content that you receive on the site. So when you go first to your profile, you will notice that there's a little edit button up in the right top corner. If you click on this, it enables you to edit and change a number of things about your profile. You can, for example, change your name if you need to. You can add a summary of who you are. You can change where you're actually working so that other people know where you're located. And you can also upload a CV so that other people know what you are working in. If you see up here in the left corner, if you hover over the camera icon, you can change your cover picture, and you can also upload a profile picture by hovering over the box here and clicking on it. And these are really important so that people actually get to see who you are and have that connection. A couple of other areas on your profile that are important are this areas of interest, because these areas of interest enable other members to see what you're interested in and they can connect based on those. But it also enables us as Springboard administrators to contact you based on your areas of interest. So if, for example, if you're interested in malaria, then we can send you specific content based on malaria. We also have an area called My Skills, and so this is an area where, for example, if someone needs to find another member who has skills in human-centered design or something like that, they can find you based on this. And so these are really important areas of your profile to fill out so that we can create a stronger community. So just to give you a quick tour of the site, you can see that this is really where the activity starts. This is kind of our home page, our activity feed. And here you'll notice that you can post a number of different things. You can, for example, post a link to an interesting article that you read, perhaps. You can post images or even insert or embed videos into a post. And you can also include files in your post. There is the really exciting feature to be able to notify certain people. So if you only want to notify certain people, you can select on the buttons here. Or you can also, as we were just talking about in your profile, you can select to notify people just based on a certain location, or people that work for a certain country or company, or live in a certain country. Or you can only notify people based on their areas of interest or their skills or their type of position. So that's a really neat feature to allow people to get to know what you are trying to say. Another thing is that you can add a trip. So say you're traveling somewhere. If I'm traveling to Zambia next week, I can put in my trip information and let people know where and when I will be so that I can connect with people when I'm traveling to another place. You can also post your own events right here from the home page. And just like you might have seen on Facebook and other social media, you can check in and let people know that you're at a certain location. Say that you're at the Rollback Malaria meeting. You can check in and let people know that you're there so that you can connect more easily. You'll also see here in the activity feed that this is where people will share interesting information that they find. You'll find events that people have created. Just like I said a moment ago, you can see people are checking in. Or people are sharing their thoughts or asking questions for other people. In the right-hand column, you'll be able to see who's recently connected on Springboard. You can also see a Twitter feed for the compass so that you see which materials have been added most recently. And you'll also be able to find events that are coming up in the recent future. So that is basically the home page of the new community. The next tab that I want to talk about is the Members tab. And this is really exciting because we have, it's very easy to find people that you might be interested in getting to know better. You can find people just by scrolling through and looking at all the pictures. You can also look on the map and you'll see here, if you look, you'll see the number of people who are members in a certain area, and you can zoom in and try to find more people based on that, just on the map. And you can also search for people either by their names or keywords, by their location, or additional filters. So you can try to find people who work for a certain company or who live in a certain country, or again, based on their areas of interest or skills. So again, this is why it's so important for everybody to fill out their profiles so that people can more easily find you. The next tab is our Groups tab. And this is where you can find basically online community of practice based on technical areas or based on countries, like you can see Zimbabwe here or Vietnam. We also have based on technical areas like VMMC, or existing communities of practice like the Rollback Malaria SBCC Working Group. Or we also have alumni groups, so people who have attended communication workshops or other SBC workshops. So just to give you a quick sense, if you want to join a group, you click on the group. You can see this join button right here. You click that. If it's a private group, it will be requested for you to join. Otherwise, you will just automatically join the group. You'll see also that the structure of the groups mimics the overall site. So you can look for members in this group. You can see events that are specific to this group or news items that are specific to the group. And then each group has its own media center where you can put materials that that are relevant for your specific group. And you can see here that you can communicate just like on the activity feed. And you can also add custom tabs to your groups, and you can add social media feeds and other events that will show up right here in this left-hand corner. The next tab is our discussions, and this is really where you'll see a lot of our main events happening. So if you're familiar with Springboard, things like our themed discussions you will find here. It's very easy to start your own discussion by clicking on the new discussion. You just simply add a title. You can choose a category that you want, and you can also say anything you want there. Again, you can add links, you can add images, you can embed a video, or add a file. And the same functionality exists by notifying people as well. You have the ability under discussions to filter by the most popular, the ones that have the greatest amount of comments, or the ones that have been most recently updated. You also can find discussions based on categories. So you'll see a number of categories here that enable you to quickly find discussions. And again, this is where we will have our theme discussions that will have both audio and video sometimes, or it might just be written. The next tab is jobs, and this is probably something very familiar to anybody who's been on Springboard before. But one thing that's really nice about this new functionality is that you can find jobs based on the offer type or a specific location. And then you can actually apply right within Springboard. So you simply click on the apply button and you can say that you're interested. You can upload files and apply right within the platform. You also are able to add your own opportunity if you would like to share a job yourself. The next tab is our events tab, and it's similar to the members tab where you can search for events based on the map. You can see what's happening. You can search based on events that are coming up in the next 30 days or events that have even passed. You can also search by location. You also have a quick and easy way to say if you're going or not. And you can click on the actual event to learn more about it. There will be certain events that have ticketing available as well, so you can register within the site and you will receive email notifications and reminders about the event. We also have on the site, oh, excuse me, I went to the wrong tab, news items. And again, you'll see the ability to filter by categories. And you will also find here announcements about upcoming Springboard events or SBC-related news. This is also where you will find member spotlights so that you can get to know our members better. We have basically a library function, and as you noticed in the groups, each group has its own media center. And then this is our overall media center. So these are files that are relevant for everybody on the site. And so I want to call your attention to one specific one, which is our Springboard user guide. So as you start using the new platform, you can take a look at the Springboard user guide, which has a lot of information about how to do certain functions. The last tab that I want to show you all is the compass. And as Angie mentioned earlier, one of the things that we heard from our members is that people really wanted to have a one-stop shop. So they wanted to have their SBC community and their resources in one place. And so with this new platform, we have done that. You can actually search the compass here within the Springboard platform. So you can go ahead here and you can search for any topic that you want, say community health workers. And you can actually find topics here that might be of interest for your SBC needs. Here on the side, if you're not familiar with the compass, you are able to filter your results that you get based on different categories. And you can also contribute materials to the compass right here from within Springboard. So you just click on this link here and you can, sorry, I'm not logged in, but you can click on there and you can add materials directly within the Springboard platform. So that is a basic summary. One final thing I wanted to show you is that from anywhere on the platform, you can click this plus sign and it has a similar functionality where you can write a post, share a trip, share an opportunity, create an event, share your location, or invite. And so all of you have the opportunity to invite other members. You can click on invite an external user, just enter their first and last name and their email, and then you can send it to any colleagues that you think would be interested in joining the platform. The other thing is to click here on your name profile, and then you can click on My Settings, and you can, for example, choose if you would like to have the platform in French. Right now we just have English and French. If there is a great interest in other languages, we can also enable those. So we wanted to make sure that you're aware of those. And this is also the area where you can change how much notification you receive from the Springboard platform. And each week you will receive, if you choose, a digest with communications from the Springboard team. So we're very excited to welcome you all to this new platform, and we hope that this will be an improvement on what you have used before. If you have any needs for help, we are always available. You can reach out to our team at info@springboardforsbc.org. And for example, if you want to create a group, or if you have questions or don't know how to use something on the Springboard platform, we are always available for you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. And some questions have started coming in. I imagine you're going to put back the slide that shows the website so people can start registering while they're here still with us during the webinar. But in the meantime, I didn't ask you some of the questions. I think largely these questions will go to you, Heather, but if there's something else, I'll direct it to one of the other presenters. So the first question is, can any member start a new group?
Yes, thanks, Elizabeth. So any member is able to create a new group. All you have to do is send us an email so that we can start the process for you, and we could make you an administrator of that group. And then once you're the administrator of the group, you have the opportunity to customize that group however you want. You can add custom tabs, you can add your social media feed, add resources to your media center, all of those things. But on our side, we do need to start the process. So we would just need the name of your group and who you would want the administrator to be, and then you can move from there.
Great. There was also a question about whether or not there is a nutrition or a nutrition education group already set up. And perhaps if not, the person who posed the question could email you about setting one up.
Yeah, perfect. We don't currently, as far as I'm aware, have a nutrition or nutrition education group set up yet, so we would be very happy to set that up for you if that's of interest.
So there's also a question about whether or not group managers have the ability to invite members into their group.
Yes, so group managers, again, once you are the administrator and the manager of that group, you have the opportunity to invite members. Maybe it would be easier for me to show you really quickly how to do that. Just 1 minute. Okay, so once you are in the groups page, I'll show you this again. Actually, sorry, I need to be on a different page. 1 moment. Okay. So if you are the group manager, for example, you will see this icon or this box right here that says Manage Group. If you click on that, you have a number of tabs that you can work on to create your site. One of the tabs is Members. And so you can easily, by clicking here, click on Add or Remove Users. And if the users are already a member of the site, for example, all you have to do is click on the checkbox here and then click Save. If they're not already a member, what you can do is you can create and invite a new user by clicking on this box here. And all you have to do is, the only really important thing is to add their email address here. And then you create it, and you can send an email to that person to invite them to the new group. And so it's pretty easy for the group managers to add and invite new users using that functionality.
Great. Thanks, Heather. I think this next question, I'm not quite sure I understand exactly, but the question was around what Springboard means by communication. And perhaps that comes from the fact that Springboard originated through the Health Communication Capacity Collaborative. But we have seen over time this evolution from the term social and behavior change communication to the more broadly encompassing term social and behavior change, which recognizes that communication is one of the avenues towards social and behavior change. So in that sense, Springboard does include conversations around social and behavior change communication, but we are viewing it as having a broader spectrum of interventions beyond communication. So that could include other approaches towards social and behavior change. I understand that there's more to that question around how organizations with the name communication in their name, how they should evolve with that as well, and perhaps that's a discussion we could take up on Springboard. And perhaps on that note, I'm sure there will be more questions that we may be able to answer in the chat box, but perhaps we can put up the slide with the survey for the end of the webinar. I hope everybody has noted the URL for Springboard, and I hope everybody's had a chance to get themselves registered, and will share it with their friends and colleagues. And in the meantime, please go ahead and answer some questions about the webinar. Participating.
One other thing I just wanted to, sorry.
No, go ahead.
One other thing I just wanted to quickly call your attention to is in the resources box on the right-hand side, we have several social media images, so you can use those to share your excitement about the new platform. You can share those on social media or directly with your colleagues. So you can just click on those to download those if you would like to have access to them. Thank you very much for joining the webinar.
I believe all of the presenters will stay online and will be able to continue answering questions in the chat box. And feel free to stay with us and make sure that you've completed your survey. But thank you all for your participation.
I just wanted to say congratulations to Heather and the team. The redesign looks really awesome and so many new features, and it looks very current and fits with so many of the social media platforms that we use now. So I'm expecting that it's really going to be a great refresh for the whole community.
Thanks so much, Angie.
Yes, thank you, Angie. And I'm really looking forward to following some of these conversations on Springboard, especially around this evolution of terminology that came up in this discussion. I see we've already lost a number of our participants, so before everybody goes off, I just wanted to mention that if you have any additional questions, you can always reach out to our Springboard team at the email address of info@springboardforsbc.org. And we're very excited to welcome you to the new Springboard and hope to see you actively engaged there. Thank you all.